know we did one of these in class. I don't remember which one. So I'm going to do both 8 and 9 and move forward through this page. In 8 and 9, write a rule and an equation. So it's really asking for two things that represents the patterns. The equation's going to use an equal sign, and the rule, it really is going to be an expression. It's not going to have an equal sign. The important thing you need to think about is, are we working this way, or are we working this way? This is input, 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 input. They're all increasing by 1. This is output, 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 output. They're all increasing by 1. The rule is not add 1. What we have to look at is what's happening here, and it's changing to this. Well, that looks like plus 32, plus 32, plus 32. So here, 1 plus 32 gives me y. 2 plus 32 gives me y. 3, the input, plus what I think the rule is going to be 35. So if I put x here, what's going to happen to x? X plus 32. That's my rule to write the equation, y equals x plus 32. That one's not too bad. Right? Looking over here. Again, it's a horizontal input-output table. So assuming that this is my input and this is my output, put this in, it spits this out. Put this in, it spits this out. I put this in, it spits it out. I put this in, it spits it out. So I really have to see what is the common relationship. What can I do to each one of these to get that output? So I'm going to skip this one. That one could be plus 2. Plus 2 would only give me 4. Plus 2 would only give me 5. So it's not addition. Here I see increasing by 3. So let me try times 3. Times 3, times 3. So 1 times 3 works. 2 times 3 works. 3 times 3 works. And 4 times 3 works. So if this is m, it's going to spit out, this was the input, this was the input, this was the input. It's really just going to substitute that in there, and there's my rule. I have to write it as an equation. N is my output, equals m times 3. Now you could also write that with the no symbol form of multiplication. Let's scoochie my phone down here and look at the next two before I stop this one. Write a rule and an equation that represents the pattern in each table. So here I have an input. Now they're not consecutive integers like we had it before, so they're skipping a little bit. Oh, interesting. So I start with 32, I get 17. I start with 37, I get 22. I start with 42, I get 27. What could I mean, I could be subtracting. What is 32 minus 17? Right now my brain's off. I'm still working. I need another cup of coffee. So I'm going to try 32 minus 17 in my calculator. I get 15. So is this 32 minus 15 is my question. Let's test it here by doing 37 minus 15. Ooh, that worked. And if I get it right over here, let's see if it equals 27. All right, we got our rule. So 40, oops, brain's still off, need more coffee. 32. 37. Now I'm going to put G in. That's how we're going to determine the rule. If I put G in, what's going to happen to G? It's going to take the place of all these inputs that came before it. It becomes G minus 15. That is not an equation. An equation has to have an equal sign. This is equal to what K is. Okay, moving on to the last one. Okay. Number 11. 0, 0, 9, 1, 18, 2. Well, these look really familiar right here to me. 9 divided by 9 is 1. 18 divided by 9 is 2. And that looks like my 9 times table here. So 9 is my input. If I divide that by 9, I get 1. 18 is my input. If I divide it by 9, I get 2. 27 divided by 9 is 3. 36 divided by 9 is 4. The trick here is, although it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, don't fall into that trap. If they gave me something that was out of order up here, I would get tricked. I really need to be looking vertically. What is going on to the input? What happens to the input? What happens to the input? What happens to the input? Now I'm going to put the input into my input-output machine. What happens to the X? 9 was divided, 18 was divided, 27 was divided, 36 was divided. X is going to be divided by 9. Not an equation yet. Y equals X divided by 9. If you're using the fraction bar for division, which is what we really prefer in algebra, it's going to look like that. I don't care which way you write it, but the X has to come first here, and the X has to be in the numerator here because order is important in division. I'm going to pause this to keep it nice and short. Oopsie. I'm going to pause this to keep it nice and short and do the last 2 problems on the last video.